I aim to motivate and inspire viewers to see the clothes they wear as an expression of their personality and their beliefs. This is the Slow Wardrobe. Come and have a look. Hello, welcome to episode 37 of the Slow Wardrobe podcast. My name is Linda and I am your host. In this episode, I have a short update as to where I am with my knitting, a finished object, some work in progress, a project that I lost and then found back, and a new design that I'm working on, as well as some new to me Cocoknits knitting accessories that are just so cute that I thought I'd share them with you. They happened to arrive yesterday and I thought, oh, actually, opportunity, I'll be able to show them to you. You may already know of them or not, but we'll look at them together. And in the second section of the podcast, I decided to go super bright with some layer cake outfits. As you know, I have recently introduced a limited edition of herringbone linen fabrics in baggies and dusters. So I'm taking the bright colored baggies as a starting point for a bunch of very cheerful and very bright outfits. Let me know what you think. But before we launch into layer cake, let's have a look at my knitting. Right, so my knitting. What have I been up to in the past couple of weeks? Well, I have churned out another pair of socks for my husband. It is a Regia sock yarn called Regia Perfect. Pair as in a pair of socks. And it's one of those balls of yarn that is wound so that you have a sequence of two repeats of a yarn, and those are separated by a piece of yellow yarn. So you start knitting through the ball. Start with at yellow, start at the cuff. It's for top down socks, and you have a specific bit for the heel, and then you keep going, and you can, this is a size 11 and a half men's size sock, and then you get another piece of yellow, and then that same sequence of colors repeats itself for the second sock. I hope I'm explaining that in a way that makes sense. If I don't, then look up Regia Perfect socks. I'm sure there are better explanations than what I've just given. Here's the other one, just to show you that it is a pair. And so you get a cuff, and then a little bit of color work, and then in this case a striped sock. There are lots of different versions of Regia Perfect. So this is not for 2 at a time sock knitting, unless you are willing to rewind that 100 gram ball into 2 50 gram balls. Then you can do them 2 at a time. But since I prefer to knit my socks in sequence and on DPNs, this kind of yarn is perfect. And sometimes I like kind of alternating store-bought or kind of machine-made yarns with the hand-dyed ones, especially for very hard-wearing socks like the ones that I sometimes make for my husband. So that's my finished object, and I really churned them out quite fast, which is what I normally do if I stick to socks and I don't, alternate with other projects. I'm just keeping my little notions bag out because I'm going to show you something that's in there in a minute. So that's my finished object. Then my work in progress, there are two. I found it back. My goodness, when I was doing my year in review, 2020 in review, I could not anywhere find this work in progress. But I found it. And remember that at the time, this was last summer or last autumn when I had started knitting it, I had asked, what shall I do? Shall I go from the white to the natural and then through to black? or shall I go back to white? And I've thought of a way to do both. I'm nearly back at white, but I'm also going to do natural to black. Watch this space. Hopefully I'll work on it this coming week, because, oh, and this is a simple swirl in the linen yarn. Both of these are little project bags by Susanna from Trava and Wool. This is one of the bags that I bought from her that is on a re-dyed fabric, recycled fabric that she used to embroider all over. This is one of the bags that she made for the Slow wardrobe using layer cake linen, and that I ended up buying myself because I liked it so much. She makes them whenever she can for us. We've just had another wad of them that sold again very quickly. I think there's one bag left. When there are new ones, I'll announce it in the newsletter and on social media. Sometimes I give the newsletter subscribers first dibs. So if you want to make sure that you're the first to know, subscribe to the newsletter on the website. That is my work in progress. And then the third one, which is also a work in progress, is also a new design. I mentioned it already when I was comparing the colorway of John Arbon's Yarnadelic that I was knitting with to the previous pair of socks that I was knitting for my husband. Remember this picture and how they compare to each other? This is the swatch that I had knitted, and I put it through the washing machine because I wanted to see how this felt. Now, of course, it's felted a lot because it was in the washing machine. And what I'm working on is a design using all the mini hanks of the Yarnadelic. They're all in this bag, but I'll show them to you again here. I think there are 18 colors. They're just so lovely together. So I've got a little bit extra of this color that just arrived in the mail, so I can use that now. And I'm knitting up a design using all 18 colors and a little bit extra of this yarn. I think I will hand felt, or at least hand full the project a little bit so I can control the amount of shrinkage. Watch this space. I'm excited to work on that. I actually promised Juliet last year that I was going to do a design last year at Unravel when I got this whole bag of goodies, and I said I'll do a design with those minis, and I'm finally getting around to working on it. So hopefully next time I'll be able to show you more. So that's the other project that I'm working on. Then let's have a quick look at these little Cocoknits and what they are. First of all, I think out of all the different Cocoknits accessories, this is the one that I used most, the Stitch Fixer. And it is a little double-ended crochet hook. Now, if you're familiar with Cocoknits knitting tools, they are good quality and considerably priced compared to some alternative brands. What you get back for that, though, is beautifully color coordinated tools that are an absolute joy to use. So it's one of those things where you can maybe every now and then get yourself one so that the total expenditure stays within reason. This is not too bad though. This is the Stitch Fixer £6.95, which I know there are much cheaper crochet hooks out on the market, which of course are fine too. But the advantage of this is that it's double-sided. And my goodness, the number of times that I have fiddled with picking up a tiny little loop with a single-ended crochet hook and then to go, oh no, I needed to go the other way around in order to make the stitch. And with this, you can just then push it through and make the stitch the other way around. It is so useful when you are having to pick up stitches and go up some ribbing, for example, or some garter stitch. Then you can, after every loop, you can just move the crochet hook back and forth is great. So they're back in stock. This is my personal one. I didn't want to open this pack. So that's the first one I wanted to share with you just as a personal recommendation. There are lots of other Cocoknits tools that are on the website that I'm not highlighting. It's just this one because I like it so much. Plus a couple ones that are new to me. And one of them is a very precious and very handy measuring tape. It's made out of metal, so it's not going to stretch. And it's happy getting wet. It shows both centimeters and inches, and it is 2 meters long, which is fantastic. It makes it so much easier when you are working on a big shawl, for example. That extra 50 centimeters is pretty handy. It comes in 3 colors that are complementary to the other Cocoknits accessories. There's this beautiful kind of aqua color, and they've all have that really nice organic pebble shape. The aqua color, a pink, and the third one is a really beautiful soft yellow. There they are, the 3 colors. These are £18 each, and they come in a little drawstring bag. So that's those. Haven't decided yet which color I'm going to keep. I'm definitely going to have one. All right, next is the Cocoknits needle gauge. When it first came out, I thought £18 for a needle gauge. No, I don't need that. Could I resist it? Could I? Absolutely not. First of all, it comes into this cute little bag, but then it has all these little, look at this. I mean, come on. Isn't it lovely? It's got little magnets in it. So that's why it wants to stay closed. All the different colors, and it runs from 2mm is the smallest size, and the biggest size is 10mm. Wow, okay. And then all these different colors. I think if I remember correctly, the colors are random. So in this particular one, the colors are like this, but other ones may have different sequences. I think they're so precious. And really handy to put in like a little notions bag, where a normal needle gauge, you'll need something bigger, but these can go in a tiny little bag. And I love having small notions bags so that I can just throw them in whatever project bag I'm working with and nothing is loose. So that's that one. And then last but not least, a bigger box. So I would end up making a selection out of the items that's in there, and it's called the Flight of Stitch Markers. This is a beautiful box with a magnetic closure. So again, it wants to close, and it's got, I mean, look at that, 5 little tubes of stitch markers in it. And it's got the kind of stitch markers that you may all have seen in the little tins that Cocoknits does. Let's see if they want to come out. Yes, they do. I'm doing this very gingerly because I don't want to damage the packaging in any way. Look at this little tube. And then the little metal stitch markers in the typical Cocoknits colors. I mean, look at these colors together. They're just so lush. These are little triangles. So there are 5 different types, and all in the multicolors. Triangles, the circles in 3, round ones in 3 different sizes, and then the open ones. They look like a little ampersand, those shapes as well. Cute or what? That's the different shapes on the back. £25, but for that you get 120 nylon coated steel markers in total, 4 each of 6 colors. So there's 24 in each little tube, 120 stitch markers in total. fabulous, especially if you do projects with lots of stitch markers and you prefer to use stitch markers that are not bulky or big. I like my stitch markers small. I want them to be visible, I don't want them to snag, and I want them to be small. Big ones, you know, the very pretty ones with nice little beads and little shapes, etc., hanging off them are great, but they work for me more as progress keepers. Stitch markers, I prefer them like this. Anyway, that's just personal preference. Oh, one other thing that I wanted to talk to you about. This is going to be a bit of a labor of love and an interesting project. Okay, with this jumper, I think I've already told you, it's got issues. Well, it's got one issue, and I found out what the problem is. The problem is that with my color work, just here, where I have the color work in the darker color, it feels too tight, which it's not tight in the sense that the fabric isn't flat, but there's not enough stretch in the color work, as if my floats are too short. However, when I look at my floats, they're all the same length. Turns out that the other yarns, as well as the light colored color work yarn, has the same level of stretch. But this, which is a 4-ply sock yarn that I had some left over and I just loved the contrast, it stretches a lot less. And that's what causes, you can feel it, it just binds at the top of your arms when you move, because of where this sits. It sits at a point where you need the jumper to stretch. Everything stretches except those 5 rows. It's only 5 rows. So I thought, what am I going to do? First I thought maybe I can even cut my floats and then bind them all off, which of course is very tricky. So I've decided I'm going to cut the work, unravel, cut it here at the end of the color work, unravel that round, then put these live stitches on a needle, then unravel those 5 rows because it's knitted top down, put these live stitches on a needle, re-knit the 5 rows of color work with enough stretch, and then graft the live stitches here to the live stitches that I have there. And I'll do that. I'll film it. I'll film parts of it, the different parts of where you see me, what I do and how I do it, in order to go through those different steps. I'll film that and I'll put it on YouTube, maybe as a separate episode. I don't know, but that's what I'm going to do, because it works beautifully as a lovely store sample, but or show sample, but that's not what it was meant to be. It was meant to be a jumper that I could wear all the time. I'm very much into my yellows at the moment. I love the combination of the yellow and the white and the pink. And now I have a jumper that every time I'll wear it, I'll go like, oh, this just don't. It is not that bad, but it's just enough to make you think, I'll wear it tomorrow. You know, and then I'll just never wear it. So, not good enough. I'm going to do the work, I'm going to make the changes, and I'll end up with a jumper that I can wear. I'm committed to that. Are you with me? Okay, that's enough about knitting this week. Let's have a look at bright colors. Bright colors of layer cake. They all match the Cocoknits tools. Not really. Have fun. Well, before going in today's array of very colourful outfits, I thought I'd show you what I'm wearing just for the day rather than for the video that I'm about to make. It is February, which I'm doing this year, and I've been keeping up. I can't believe it. And today's prompt is what I'm wearing today. So I thought, well, I might as well feature it here as well. I am wearing the black Oh dear. The black herringbone baggies, my wool window pane check dress, the same kind of wine coloured undertop that I was wearing last time, and it kind of goes with the check and with the shoes that I've teamed it with to kind of bring those colours together. And then to stay warm here in the studio, because this is a pretty thin top, I've also got one of the long dusters in the blue marl colour, which of course is really nice together with the dress because it's just slightly lighter blue marl, so it goes together quite well. What do you think? Anyway, that was it for today. That's what I'm wearing today, but let's get stuck into some serious bright colour. I hope it'll cheer you up. Here we go. I would never have thought of putting these colours together. So I'll show you how I started. Do you remember that in previous episodes I was talking about taking the colours from a piece of knitwear or a scarf or a shawl, that whether you've made it yourself or bought, or a skein of yarn that you have bought that have multiple colours in it that are really inspirational. My inspiration for this outfit started with a scarf that I've just had for my birthday. This was, I so hope you can see this. Of course you can see it. I hope you can see how it's been woven. It was woven by my dear friend Helen, who is the Slow Wardrobe muse. She's my business angel. Without her, the Slow Wardrobe wouldn't have been here anymore, definitely. And I always talk about how your encouragement and of course your purchases are the wind beneath my wings. But doing something like what I'm doing, creating an entire collection of garments on the scale that I'm doing it with, which is absolutely tiny. I mean, I don't even have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So, you know, it's all very, very, very small scale, and made in the UK is financially just not viable. So without help, I wouldn't be able to do it. And when I say without help, I mean that, you know, I'm now in year 11, started Tall Yarns in 2008. It's now, well, it's year 13. It's not year 11, isn't it? Is it? So I'm now in year 13, and this past year was the first time, despite COVID, that I was able to pay myself a little bit every now and then. Not a regular salary, nothing close to minimum wage, but just something to help keep me going after all these years, an encouragement that it will grow and it will get better, and it will grow to the point that it can actually sustain itself. But until that point, Helen has been there for me all the way, especially when things got really difficult. So, and not just with financial support, but just her spirit, her enthusiasm, and her incredible talent. And this is what she made me for my birthday. I'm going to show a close-up of it. Is it possible to see through that? If this doesn't work, if I see this back and it doesn't work, I will make other photographs to make you see it, because there are sections that are wider and narrower in terms of how the threads run in the scarf, and it is just so beautiful. Anyway, these colors, this unusual combination of colors, was the starting point for this outfit. I have started every outfit with a pair of the Herringbone Baggies because they're such lovely colourful herringbone baggies, and I thought the most colourful ones of those I'm going to use as a starting point, bottom up for a colourful outfit. So because of the teal baggies, I thought, oh, let me use this scarf. And if I hold this together at the bottom, you'll be able to see that this, which is moth, which has this kind of grassy green colour in it, and mauve, together make a very sludgy brownish green with this kind of lilac-y hue on it, depending on which angle you see it from. But if you combine it with colours that don't have any yellow in them, like this, then it really pumps up the yellow in the green. You can see that, and it goes to almost like an army green. Well, this has got a foresty green colour in it that is not far away. So if you ignore this bit and then you look at these together, isn't that stunning? And I never would have put these two together without having seen them mixed in this scarf. Anyway, when I had those two in the scarf, I thought, okay, so that's one outfit. But if I then discard this, how can I now keep building? So I was looking at these colors together, looking at the purple in there, which of course also jumps out with that teal behind it. I thought, okay, purple. So I went for the violet mini tabard and then pulled them all together. If I would not do that with a scarf like this, pull them together with the small check, in this case, tail smock. Cool, huh? All right, I will take these layers off one by one so that I can show you what happens if I then wear that with this scarf. So let's start with the tail smock. So it works, but it's not great. In my opinion, the reason it's not great is because of the color of the top I'm wearing underneath. That takes away from, so whereas this adds something to what I've got going here, this now ends up disrupting the color combination that I've got. What can I do about that? There. Better. Not to add this to the outfit, but to add this color to the outfit, something very neutral. So it's to show you how a different base layer would work better, a different color base layer. And that could be dark gray, black, a darkish blue like this. And then the rest of the outfit would be really nice together. However, I think the connection between the scarf and these two layers would work even better without him. So I'm going to take that off and then add the scarf back in. There we go. Cool, huh? And now, because I've got the shoes and the top, and this is all more together in the first place, and I don't have the contrast of that violet in the middle, the top and the shoes are fine with it. It's all calmed down enough. However, it's not very bright, is it? And I said I was going to go bright. Let's go bright. This better? Apple baggies, blue cross smock, and the duster in the ochre, the plain ochre, not the herringbone ochre. Really nice bright colors, quite primary colors. And of course, yellow and blue make green. There's always a bit of a story behind it, but the main focus of this outfit was contrast, and that goes for the others as well. I've tried to go contrast and bright. Pull it together with something like this. I always keep this guy on standby because, goodness me, it is so incredibly versatile. Especially this colorway, the cottage garden. But columbine, which I would love to knit and just don't have the time for, would be fantastic as well. Look, bringing those reds in, of course, then ties in with the shoes and the top. But even without those reds, It's got the green and the yellowy color in it. So it pulls the outfit together. Without it though, works as well. And again, these colors could have come from a different shawl or scarf that you started with for inspiration. So what I'm trying to do here is give you, as usual, lots of different options so that you can play with the colors in your own wardrobe. My dream is that if you watch an episode of this podcast, you then take the first opportunity you have to go through your wardrobe and make new combinations that you've never made before to make your wardrobe more fun, more colorful and more enjoyable. The whole idea is that you end up loving what you're wearing every day and that what you're wearing reflects how you feel. So, more color. Next outfit. If bright spring colors are your jam, here's a lovely outfit for you. The ochre herringbone baggies, the pink step top and the duster in the apple herringbone. And I haven't taken the red top off, I just pulled up the sleeves so that you can see the outfit without the red in the middle. If I pull that down again, then you can see how with or without the top ends up affecting the outfit. Bit more spring-like, bit more summery, and then bringing in that muted color and calming everything down a little bit. Then, of course, again, you know, a scarf like that would be fantastic with this outfit. It's got all the colors in it. I don't think I even have to put it on to show you the effect of what adding that has and how, again, it pulls everything together. But you could go for contrast as well. Something like this, because it's got that kind of bitter lime in it, which picks up on the yellow of the baggies. If you just want to have something around your neck, it doesn't have to be made up out of these colors. See, the contrast works well as well. Want to see more? I've got another bright one for you. Here we go. Now, I put this on and I think great contrast, but it's very blocky. It's a bit disjointed. Look what one additional color can do, and that was very much picked on the basis of connecting the dots. Look at this baby and what that does to this outfit. This is a yarn that is orange and pink. So it actually has the bright pink in it that the baggies do. And the orange, of course, red and yellow makes orange, It's very logical in its setup in terms of playing with the colors on the color wheel. And how effective is it? So, if you have these kind of disjointed, if you think like, oh my goodness, nothing in my wardrobe goes together, think again. And think of knitting some pieces or looking for accessories that bring those colors together. So if you have red and yellow, go for orange, you know, so I think you understand what I mean. So this was the last really bright one. Oh, I'll tell you what it is. It's the pink herringbone baggies, the red step top, the yellow or the ochre, the ochre duster, and this is the crescent shawlette. Now this is a particular colorway of yarn that I don't have anymore, but it's not a difficult combination to find. The orange and pink, you could even do something stripy in orange and pink. It doesn't have to be in one yarn. So to calm it all down, right at the end, I'll give you one more outfit, and this is just very calm and pastel-y and a bit springy, but in a very different direction. Last but not least, I'm nothing short of smitten with the combination of the steel herringbone and the blush. I love it. I could have put a blush dress on actually. This is a blush step top. I was into the step tops with making the bright outfits, and then I grabbed this as a step top, but of course a dress would be really nice as well. Anyway, I just wanted to show you here the black herringbone, the steel herringbone, and a blush step top or a blush dress to do a really cool, calm and collected, very neutral but not boring outfit that could either be kept like this or, for example, could replace the black herringbone trousers with the pink ones. So it would be all very sweet and very summery, but a little bit lighter and brighter. Big difference, huh? This or that. Anyway, I hope I've given you lots to think about and lots to play with again. And thank you very much, as always, for watching. And I'll see you again very soon.